Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Her Playbook podcast with Devon and Jaden. Today, we have an incredible guest that you will not want to miss. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode.
Maya Brady, an elite softball player, a pivotal player for the UCLA Bruins. She is a two-time All-American and Pac-12 Player of the Year. Now in the current season, she's reached a new milestone, securing the third position for the Bruins with an all-time home run career of 62. Not to mention, Maya was my freshman year roommate. Maya, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
So when we were thinking of having a guest on, we really wanted like a prominent woman in sports, and you were like one of the first people that we thought of. So thank you again for being here. We're so excited to talk to you. But let's start with how you started playing softball.
Yeah. So my mom played softball, and she was a pitcher at Fresno State. And then I kind of just like always loved sports. Like I was always the kid, like for Christmas, I would get like basketballs and like softballs and like I was just always outside.
Yeah.
And so I think just like when she had a daughter, she was like, I need to put her in softball.
Yeah.
And I think I just loved it from the jump. Like, you know, like the best feeling when you get out of school and you're like, oh, I can't wait to go play.
Yeah.
Just from like with your like school friends or like girls that you know, whatever. So I just kind of got into it because my mom played, and yeah.
I was lucky enough to meet your mom, and she is like such a kind-hearted woman.
Yes.
And like you can also see like how close you two are.
Yeah.
And like you said, she also played softball. How did that, like her playing softball, affect your relationship with softball? And like what's the dynamic between you and your mom with like your relationship?
I feel like it's really good because she was a pitcher.
Yeah.
And I'm not a pitcher.
Yeah.
But I feel like we used to kind of beef a little bit when I was like a teenager because she'd be like, this is what a pitcher's thinking. Like,
Yeah.
doing that. And I'd be like, dude, you didn't even hit.
You don't get it.
You never swung a bat. Stop.
Yeah.
But I feel like for me, one of the moments that I think of is like my first College World Series. Like I didn't know what to expect. I just kind of saw everything from social media.
Yeah.
And so I get on the bus, or like I go down in the lobby. All the parents are cheering. I'm like, what's going on? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And my mom like hands me a bag, whatever. And I'm sitting on the bus, and like it was just letters from like my mom, and like my family's very close. So like my mom, my grandparents, like whatever.
Yeah.
And so I literally like saved my mom's for last. So I was like, this is gonna get me. Like I can't. And so I opened the letter, and she was talking about like when she played at the Women's College World Series.
Oh my God.
And just like that. And I feel like for me, like that was the first moment where I was like, whoa, like this is actually so sick.
Yeah.
Like playing on the same field as her, and just getting to like, literally that's something that we bond over all the time. Like, and not in an annoying way where it's like, oh, we talk about his softball. Like, I thoroughly enjoy talking about softball with her just because she sees it from such a different perspective. But I feel like it can be tough sometimes, but she's just so supportive. Like, and I know that she's my biggest fan. So it's like, it has its pros and cons, but mostly pros. I feel like it's just special.
Yeah, I think we can definitely relate to being close with our moms. Our moms are like our biggest supporters.
Yeah.
And it's so cool that your mom like has the perspective of also being a softball athlete.
Yeah.
And I know your whole family is very athletic.
Yeah.
Your mom, obviously, star softball player. And then your uncle, Kevin Youkilis, MLB 2 times World Series champion. That's amazing. And then also your other uncle, obviously, Tom Brady, NFL legend. What was it like growing up in a family full of greats? And what do you see in your game that kind of resembles your family's game, if that makes any sense?
Yeah. I feel like it's weird because when I was little, I didn't even know. Like, I thought it was so normal to, like, turn on the TV on Sunday and, like, see your relatives.
Family.
Like, I was like, it's not weird, right? Like, whatever. It was just so normal.
Yeah.
And so for me, like, and I honestly didn't even really realize like how sick my mom was until like I kind of got older. And my papa, my mom's dad, is like huge into like stats. So he like remembers every record of my mom's. Like I didn't even understand. Like I feel like also because there was like no social media, there's no anything.
Totally.
So like I didn't really know like how good she was. And then I don't know. Like I don't even know when the first moment I realized like, wow, this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I feel like for me, like sports has always just been in our family. Like my family is very, very, very competitive. Like as long as I can remember, like we would literally be like out at a restaurant and all of a sudden like one person would just like take off and they're like, last person to the car. Like just weird stuff. And I'm like, I'm literally 3. Like, what do you want me to do? Like literally just like stuff like that.
That's
so
hilarious.
I feel like for me, like just being ultra competitive is just like something that's like just been instilled in me. And I like try to not be competitive because I'm like, dude, like you're literally playing cards. Like, it's like literally stop. You're just tone it down a bit. Like
Totally.
But I feel like it's just such a part of who I am.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the biggest part of like that I try to bring into my game is just trying to be competitive all the time.
Right.
And I feel like as I've gotten older, definitely more passionate. Like I'm more, I would say in my family, I would say I'm definitely more shy. Like I'm the oldest of like a lot of cousins. So they're in that age where like they're not afraid to like dance and like just do like stuff. No filter, exactly. So like for me, I would say I'm definitely more shy. And so I never really tapped into that like emotional part of the game for a long time until I would say probably like the last like 2 years has kind of, I don't know, I feel like that passion has just become more outward for me, which I feel like my uncle and my mom are very passionate people and aren't afraid to show it. So I don't know. I feel like those are probably the things that I
I feel like I've been thinking a lot about like post sports, and then I was like, I feel like the most competitive side of me comes out when I'm doing some sort of games, like same as me, like when I'm playing cards, it'll come out as well. And it's like I always wonder, like, after sports are over, like, what is, like, where's that going to come out for me? Or is that just a piece that's, like, then left behind?
No, literally. I feel like it can't get
I don't think so either. Because it's, like, been a part of our lives now. Like, I'm 23. Like, I've been playing sports since I was, like, 5 years old. Like, that's how long I've been competitive and, like, wanting to win at something. So I feel like I honestly might even bring it into, like, whatever I do next. Of, like, wanting to be the best at that. And, like,
I feel like it's going to come out when we're, like, soccer moms.
No,
like,
it is.
That's for sure.
We're going to be, like, the over-obsessed parents that are, like, on the field. Like, I'm going to be on the field at my kids' t-ball practice. Like, no. Like, we're not doing that. Like, I'm going to literally be that. Like,
so true.
But it's, like, so weird because where do you?
I don't know.
Like, put that.
It's going to come full circle, I think, for us, because us as parents and like seeing it full circle, I'm gonna be like, I totally understand why those moms are crazy.
Yeah.
Like 100%. It makes so much sense.
It's all gonna make sense.
No, it's all gonna make so much sense. But I feel like it's gonna be like also I feel like when I'm competitive, that's when I'm my most like best.
Yeah.
Totally. You're like so authentic.
Like you feel like literally you feel like you're in the right moment, like you're supposed to be there when that happens. And it's just so natural that I feel like I might be a saleswoman, like it's literally like fist bumping. Like I don't care. Like
oh my God, that's so good. You came out of high school being the Los Angeles Player of the Year and the #2 recruit in the country. How did you pick UCLA, and like how did you decide that UCLA was going to be the school for you?
Yeah. So when I was little, like my family's from the Bay Area. So when this was in 2010. My mom's a nurse now, but before she was a nurse and she was like in nursing school and like doing her nursing boards and all that stuff, she did pitching lessons like forever. Like that's like all of my memories at the field. If I'm not playing, it's like literally just going and watching my mom like coach and just like sitting there with her. But so one day my mom was at work and she called my dad and was like, hey, like turn on whatever channel, like the Women's College World Series is playing. It's a championship game, like whatever. So they turn on the TV and it just happened to be UCLA.
Oh, wow.
And and so I didn't even know softball was even a college sport. Like I literally had no idea. And I can like vividly remember I was in my parents' room sitting on their bed, on like the edge of the bed. And I like just became obsessed. Like literally from that moment, I was like, wow, I'm going to UCLA.
That is so cool.
Literally. And
wow.
all throughout, like, because, I mean, when we were in travel ball and I don't know, what is it for beach? Like tournaments.
Yeah, like
getting recruited, club stuff. Like, our culture was so different because I remember I had college coaches at my games when I was 12.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. Like, we would have, it was regular, like, in our travel organization, I come from, like, a super just, like, prominent travel ball coach organization, whatever. So many great players have come out of it. And we would be at practice and, like, my coach would walk up. Or, like, Arizona's coach would walk up. Florida's coach would walk up.
So that was the norm.
That was the norm. Like, for me, I remember being, like, in 12U, and one of my teammates had committed, and I literally thought to myself, in that moment, I was like, dang, like, I am far behind. Like, I don't even know if I'm gonna get recruited. Like, I don't even know if I'm like the panic as a 12-year-old. Like,
God. Wow.
And so that's just like, I don't know if that's just softball.
Yeah.
I know like soccer's kind of young too, but like I vividly remember like from just a young age being so obsessed with going to UCLA. And it's funny because like going through the recruiting process, my mom was always like, and like my coaches would always be like, I can just only see you at UCLA. Like, I'm trying to think of people in other jerseys and like, I can't, like, I only see you at UCLA. And so from literally 9 years old, 8 years old, I was like, I'm going. And that I went to other schools and got recruited. And I really wanted to go to Oregon for a hot minute. And then, like, I was, like, done with UCLA. I was like, I threw away all my UCLA stuff. I'm going to Oregon now, all this stuff. But for some reason, I don't know. I think also just my family being so close.
Yeah.
I think my grandpa, he literally was like, one time we were talking about college, and he was like, you know, if you go to Oregon, like, you're going to Eugene, and there's no direct flights, so you're not going to really see us that much. And I was like, okay, like, relax. Like, but it's true. Like, for me, family's so big, so UCLA was, like, just so ideal. My mom lives 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
Most of my family's in California.
Right.
And then I think just, like, I think my family really set in early, like, softball's not forever. And so you need to go to a school where, like, you might not win a Women's College World Series, which for me, I'm so lucky because UCLA is 99% of the time always there.
Yeah.
So you're always going to have a chance to win a Women's College World Series while getting the best academics literally ever. So I think for me, it was just like a no-brainer. Like, as I got older, but it's just funny because, like, literally from 8, I was like, I'm going.
I love that.
I'm going. Like, I don't care.
I literally never hear those stories, too. Like, the only time I hear those stories are when it's, like, both their mom and dad went to UCLA and grew up wearing the jersey.
Yeah.
And, like, for me, like, my high school is across the street. So,
literally.
like, I kind of knew, like, UCLA. I grew up going to those games.
Yeah.
But even then, I was still like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
No, yeah. And, like, my mom got recruited by UCLA. Like, my mom wanted to go to UCLA, too. So I think also that, like, was kind of cool just to be like, oh, like, my mom wanted
now we're
to go
doing it. Yeah.
Exactly.
So COVID hit our freshman year,
Yeah.
which means now that's why we're able to take a 5th year of eligibility. For me, like, COVID was almost a blessing in disguise in that sense, because I feel like I have so much more appreciation at 23 for what I have right now at UCLA rather than what I had at 18. What, like, made you decide to use that 5th year of eligibility at UCLA?
Yeah. Weirdly for me, it was like a no-brainer. Like, I was like, why would I not? Like, I don't know. I think just because, especially for us, like, where we ended was on such a high note. Like, we had just become #1, like, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then literally all of a sudden, it was like, I literally remember talking to you, like,
I know.
We have a meeting. Like,
I know.
Like, what? Like, and so I think for me, like, I just couldn't even think of, like, not taking a 5th year. Like, I'm not ready to work.
That's what we've said throughout the whole
We don't
thing.
want 3-year-olds.
It's like, when I think of last year, if that was my last season, like, I would not be ready to let it go.
Yeah.
No.
Like, I couldn't enter the workforce right now. I don't feel like as prepared, but right now I couldn't imagine doing another year of college. Like,
So the culture of UCLA softball is so strong, and it's actually talked about throughout UCLA athletics. How can you describe your team culture, and where does that come from?
Yeah, I feel like it's so weird because literally, like, from, like, I feel like my first day on the team, you could just like tell the way that like not only the players operate, but like the way that the coaches, like I always describe it like it's kind of weird. Like when you think about almost a baseball manager, like a Dave Roberts, like he's not necessarily super hands-on with the players, like coaching and like all that stuff. But I feel like the culture of like the Dodgers is so strong that like he can almost be in that role. And I feel like from when I like kind of started here, like I noticed that was almost the way that like my head coach operates. Like she like will come in and like say her piece and it's like so strong. And like she creates such a good relationship with every single player on the team that like when she like, cause she's not the one out there like coaching third or coaching first. Like she's in the dugout and like kind of running it in that way.
Yeah.
And so I feel like just the relationship between the coaching staff and the players is so strong, but it truly is a player-led team, I would say. Like I feel like, obviously I don't know other programs, I don't know other teams, but I feel like the expectation, like it's so crazy. Like we hold each other more accountable than our coaches do.
Yeah.
Which I like because I feel like it does create a sense of culture within the team. But I don't know. I don't know how other teams run. It's just so normal to me.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think the culture is just so, the history is there and it's all around us. Like it's in our clubhouse. It's in our, we have like natties like in our locker room above our lockers. Like we talk about it all the time. And I feel like it's a blessing because we are the most decorated program in college softball.
Right.
So it's almost like you're a part of this like softball royalty and like you're just kind of in line of like going through this program. But the alumni come back, they're super strong, they help the players. Like the culture is very just like like we talk about it all the time. Like I don't know, we like do things like for the team all the time. And like we make it a point to be like, you're doing this for the team. Like I don't know, it's like hard to explain. I feel like while I'm in it, just because I've never experienced anything else. But like that's funny that you're like, it's talked about throughout.
It is.
Is it really?
Yes. Yeah. So the Bruin bubble. I'm dying to know what the Bruin bubble is. Like, please explain.
I feel like the best explanation of the Bruin bubble is literally just like, there's like a bubble and then there's like the inner bubble. So the inner bubble's like the players, the coaches, the support staff, but then the bubble is like, but also like the players, the coaches, the families.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the fans, but the alumni.
Yeah.
Anybody that we really welcome in, I think, is in the bubble. Anybody whose opinion we care about is in the bubble.
Got it.
I feel like we talk about that a lot, like, especially when things do go wrong or do go bad. It's like we talk about making the bubble tighter.
Oh, I like
and
that.
So, I feel like it is just truly about like everybody that we welcome in to our lives on a daily basis within the program is like in the bubble. But it's like,
I was so dying to know about this bubble.
Yeah.
We talk about it a lot. I remember
Really?
like my freshman year when we went and did like a day where like we went and hit balls with you guys. We like very much before that, and I think even the day after in practice, like had a full discussion on like what your guys' culture is like. And like the reason, and it's been with me since I was a freshman, but like we always talk about like why you're doing it, and it's always for your team. And I really think that almost started with you guys and like hearing about it from you guys, because it's so apparent on the outside. Like you guys move as a unit. Like you guys are like really, really connected. And like, I don't know, I feel like that's pushed a lot of teams at UCLA to kind of be that way, which I think is really great. How would you say that your leadership style has changed since you got to UCLA versus where you're at now?
Yeah, I feel like you guys could probably relate, but like when you're in like club, like you're a leader just because you're a talented player on the team. And so I feel like for me, like in my travel organization, like it's the complete opposite of UCLA. Like we did not cheer. We did not like, we were always just kind of the team that was kind of about like business type. We would just like kind of go in and like run rule a team like 20-0 and then like leave and like, like what's going on? And so for me, like I feel like coming into UCLA, a lot of my leadership style was just like through my play, through my action. Like I wanted to just be a leader by showing you how I did things. But in our program, we actually have like a model where like freshman year you're there to like learn, and then like sophomore year, I don't know what it is, junior year you become a leader. And so the juniors are actually the leaders of the team, not the seniors. The seniors' job is to influence the rest. And so like for us, like I obviously with COVID, I was a freshman twice. So it was weird. Like I feel like my like redshirt sophomore year, I was like a little bit more responsibility was put on me. And then our sophomore year, like I still was kind of able to be like that like little sister vibe. We still had a lot of players returning. Like, and then I would say my redshirt junior year was the year that like I felt a lot of the pressure of being a leader. And it became very, very hard for me just because I think when you're a leader, it's very lonely. And a lot of people can take your leadership the wrong way. And I think especially like you guys can relate, I think when there is an issue or when feelings do get hurt on such a small team, it's felt a lot. And I think for me, like one of my favorite aspects of softball is my teammates.
Absolutely.
So to feel like I was almost not the disciplinarian, but I had to hold the standard of UCLA softball, and I felt that so heavily. Like I just felt like it kind of took a toll on me, and like it can be hard, I think, especially as a junior, because you're like, I'm not a senior. So like, why am I telling her what to do? Or like, why am I like saying like, hey, like, can you do this a little bit more? And so I think now I feel like my leadership style, especially being the fifth year, and this is kind of the first time where we don't have the Megan Faramo, the Aaliyah Jordan, like, we don't have these people that have been here for so long. I'm the one that's been here for so long that like I'm almost more so trying to be more like big sister vibe, like give my insight of things I wish I knew when I was a freshman or a sophomore. But again, it's like kind of hard because we aren't supposed to be the leaders of the team as the seniors, but I would definitely say I'm more vocal now. I've like gotten a little bit more comfortable in that, and I think just from being a junior and being the leader, it forces you to. And also like my coach, she like literally told me like, I'm gonna make you uncomfortable, and I'm gonna make you talk, and I'm gonna make you be the one to like call people out, which is definitely not in my nature. So I think now it's definitely been more vocal, but I would definitely say more like, I guess still through my play, but definitely like putting now my insight. And I feel like before I would just kind of like talk to like one or two people and be like, what if we did this? But now I'm like, no, like we're doing this. And so
I think that as athletes, like throughout our entire career, I think for everyone, like everyone's had their share of coaches who bring out like the best of them, but also there's coaches that just bring out the worst. How do you think that your coaching staff at UCLA like has not only shaped the softball player you are, but the person you are? You touched on a little bit like leadership style.
So my mom actually played against my two coaches.
Wow.
And then our male coach, Kirk Walker, he coached against my mom. Like, so for me, like those three and their, I feel like just impact beyond like actually playing for them. I already knew kind of how great they were just being themselves. Like, I feel like not only did their like softball greatness on the field and what they did kind of shape who they were in my eyes, but like just hearing stories about the people they were, the competitors they were. So I kind of already had this expectation of like, I'm going to go into this program and like, it's going to change me like in some way. And so I feel like each of them are so different. But I would definitely say like Coach I has taught me like just to laugh and just to enjoy it and just to like be my goofy self on the field and with her. And she honestly, like for me growing up with a single mom, like it was so important for me and like cool for me to see the powerful female leadership in her. And like my coach Lisa, like seeing both of them and the women they are, the moms they are, I feel like for me has given me such a different perspective. And I just feel like Coach I's really, I don't know, she's so funny. Like she's just, I don't know, she reminds me of my mom. Like literally they're like personalities are so similar, but she just taught me like the enjoyment of the game. I would say Lisa's really taught me about the little things, and not only like on the field, but in life, like just being detailed about everything that you do and thinking, because she is like, she's the greatest player of all time.
Yeah.
So like anything she says, you want to listen.
Yeah.
And not only like on the field, but in life, she is so detailed and so she thinks of every possibility in the world. And like for me, that stresses me out. But then I'm like, wait, I should probably think about everything. Yeah, like maybe I should.
Yeah.
But I think, and then my coach Kirk, he's just the best. Like he's just such a sweet person, and I feel like when I'm around him, like it just makes me enjoy being at the field, because I feel like when you go to the field so many times during the week, you're like, brother, I need to get out of here. I cannot be here anymore. He's just so silly but so knowledgeable that like he's almost like your like best friend on the field. Like he's just very, I don't know, he just warms your heart when you see him. I feel like in the clubhouse or in the coach's office, whatever. But I feel like each of them have like impacted me so differently as a player and a person. And I honestly, I don't want to leave. Like they're like making me not want to leave, because I love my coaches so much. Like, and not everybody can say that.
For sure.
And I feel so lucky to be like, no, like I love my coaches.
Yeah.
It feels good. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they can ruin your...
They absolutely
totally
can.
Yeah. I mean, having great coaches can make your entire your experience.
100%.
And if, one college coach has a negative attitude or, is affecting the team culture, it's very obvious. And it really comes from top to bottom,
Literally.
So
Literally.
Okay, so with the new implementation of NIL, obviously college athletes have the opportunity to work with brands and promote the things that they love. So I'm curious, what has been your favorite NIL experience so far?
My favorite?
Or coolest?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fun.
I'm trying to think. I feel like they're all so... like I feel like a lot of them are like on social media, just like posting, which is like fine, obviously, but I feel like I did this thing with Nerf a while ago, and it was just cool because I've never really met like other like athletes from other schools, especially like non-softball players that were like really into NIL. So it was like cool for me just to meet other student athletes from other schools that like, and they're all like really big on social media. I'm not that big on social media. Like I'm like, I don't know, like I'm compared to them, like I'm really not. Like I was like, whoa, this is a lot. Like they're over here like making TikToks and stuff. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. Like I do draw the line sometimes. But like I feel like that was just cool, because I feel like a lot of NIL is like through social media. Like it's not like you get to go and experience something. And it was cool. Like I got to go to IMG and like just meet other people. And it's definitely out of my comfort zone just because I am more shy. So when I'm in an environment where like I don't know anybody, like I'm very like quiet.
Totally.
Like I'm not like how I am if you know me. But I feel like that was really cool. But I would say something I did recently was our team actually got an NIL deal with this brand called Absolutely Ridiculous. And they're like, they do like the shin guards and like the sliding mitts for MLB players. And it was cool because like, for example, like Bryce Harper, like in the last postseason, like he had like a Philly Fanatic like sliding mitt, like they did that. So it was really cool because they did it with our whole team. But then I actually did my own thing with them. And I'm gonna be coming out with my own like collection.
That's so
cool. And so it was just really cool because I feel like a lot of times with NIL, a lot of brands, especially with softball, like because like, yes, it's big, but like right now I feel like it's a lot of like basketball, like women's basketball, like just other sports, which is good, obviously. But I feel like a lot of brands sometimes don't know how to deal with or how to market like some smaller sports that aren't super big in the men's game. So like I feel like sometimes when I do stuff, I'm like, this is corny.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
This is not it. But for the first time with Absolutely Ridiculous, I was like,
You're like, this is
Proud.
this is sick.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it was actually something where I was like, wow, like I want to post this on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like when it's a situation like that, it gets your creative juices flowing.
Totally.
And so you just enjoy the process so much more. And so like working with like the team that they brought in to shoot for them, it was like probably my favorite experience I've ever had. And it was literally just like, I literally wore leggings and a shirt, and they were like, we were on Easton, and they were just like, oh, like do this, like, and they just made me feel like I was important.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's also the part that's missing in NIL, especially with females, is like, people will literally be like, oh, baseball.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
why are you doing something with me if you think I play baseball?
Yep.
I don't play baseball. Or like, if I
gosh.
go do something and they give me like a baseball bat, I'm like, I don't swing this. I don't even know like
That's unbelievable.
what is this.
Yeah, that's
but like they're
wild.
doing a deal with you, and it's like,
They're supposed to know you and like choose you for you.
right. And it's like, that was the first time where I was like, dang, like I feel like I'm actually like cool. Like they know me, like they know what I'm
really
doing.
cool.
Like
Yeah, I love
it
that.
was sick. And then I think just collabing with my whole team and like
Yeah.
it was really cool. When they came, they like set the whole room up with all of our stuff, and like it was just really cool. It was a really good experience.
That's
so
amazing.
I feel like that was my favorite, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like with NIL and social media being like so prevalent, it's so easy for people and younger girls and younger men to be comparing themselves to what they see on social media. And this is something that I really struggled with when NIL was coming out, because I was like, well, why am I not getting this follower? Why am I not getting these likes? Is this something that you've struggled with? And what advice would you give to somebody who's struggling with it now?
Yeah, I feel like for me, like when NIL kind of like even was getting passed or whatever, I was kind of like, I play softball. Like they're not gonna be going for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna be making money. Like I literally play like, no, I'm not like a women's basketball player. I'm not, I feel like it can definitely be hard, especially just like, I don't know, because I feel like you see a lot of different women blowing up and you're like, well, what do they have that I don't have? Like, what do they do that I'm not doing? And like, am I not pretty enough? Am I not whatever? And like, I feel like it can definitely be hard. But for me, I feel like I'm lucky because I never had an expectation. So like, I was never like, oh, I want to make this a thing. I want to be an influencer. I want to be like, it was never something that I even expected that I would be doing at this rate. And so for me, like, it's definitely hard sometimes, but then I'm like, you know what? Like, I didn't even want to do this in the first place. Like, this is like a plus for me.
Yeah.
Like,
So true.
it's just an opportunity for me to make money, which like, unfortunately, like, I'm not going to go make a ton of money playing my sport.
Yeah.
And so like, I think it's just, I just have to like continue to look at it almost as like, this is an opportunity, and like I should just be grateful for what I have already.
Totally.
But I feel like in terms of advice, like I always have to like tell myself like, you are one of one. Like there is not another you. And I think everything that you bring, whether you believe it or not, is special and unique. And I feel like that's something that like I always, even just like in terms of like, I'm not a stats person. Like I don't really look at stats a lot or rankings but I think like it can be easy because it's in your face all the time. And so I think even with stuff like that, like it's just kind of like, well, why are they not nominating me? Well, why am I not winning this award? And it's like, it can be very tough, especially I think now because everybody has an opinion now.
Yes.
That like, dang, like obviously I'm not doing enough, but it's like, no, like you need to understand that like you are literally so special and like unique, and there's only one you. Like, so for you to compare yourself to others, like you can't be somebody else. You're never gonna be somebody else. So you might as well kind of love yourself, and you're stuck with yourself. So, so you gotta kind of like, I don't know, like love it. Like enjoy it as much as you can. But
I love that.
I feel like it's definitely hard though.
Yeah.
Just it's in your face all the time.
Yeah, you can't stay away from it.
No.
I feel like it's also like, even like we grew up with like phones and stuff, I would say for the most part, but not to this extent where like you're on TikTok all the time or you're on Instagram all the time and Snapchat and stuff. And I cannot imagine like what younger girls are going through when they look at their phones and they
13,
see
14-year-olds.
what they see, what they're like supposed to look like. And like what society is saying, like this is what you should be as a standard. And if you're not pretty.
No, literally. I think about it all the time just because my sister.
Yeah.
And like my sister's very like, my sister's very confident. I'm like, you need to relax. First of all, you need to stop. But like, I think about it all the time just with her, and like I'll go on TikTok and like I'll see her post and I'm like, I could not
I could
do
never.
this.
I know.
Like I like literally like even as a like almost 23-year-old, I post on Instagram and I'm like, I need to throw my phone. Like I can't go on. Like I'm sick to my stomach right now.
I know.
But like it's so true. Like I could not be, especially a high schooler. I could not be a high schooler right now. And like beyond TikTok, I feel like really set it off.
I think so too.
It brought a completely different, I don't know why.
I agree.
But I think it's because like on Instagram, you only see the people you follow.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like you're seeing
That's so true.
girls that like are your age from everywhere. And you're like, if I was like, when I look back at when I was a freshman in high school and I see some of the freshmen in high school now, I'm like, I would have been
garbage.
My self-esteem would have been in the dumps. As a 23-year-old, I'm like, damn, like, wow, okay, like, relax, like, oh my god. But no, literally, I could not have grown up in this social media age. Like, it's scary. It's actually scary.
It is, yeah.
I know. I really liked what you said about just remembering to be you and like, be the best version of you. You know, so I think we're gonna move on to our last little section of our favorite little question segment, the things we wish we knew about Maya Brady.
Oh gosh.
That's my favorite.
So Devon, take us away.
Okay, day games or night games?
Ooh, day games. I hate playing at night.
Really?
Like,
I was going to guess you would say opposite for some reason.
Oh, I hate night games. Really? It's like, because first of all, like, I hate the cold.
Okay.
So when it's cold, I'm like,
yeah.
We could have literally played at 3.
Yeah.
And like, also the ball looks faster at night.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like it's because maybe like you can't see the spin as much. So like it looks a lot faster. Like, no, literally, like my redshirt freshman year, we literally got perfect gamed at the World Series. And we were facing this girl. Her name's Montana Fouts, and like I played with her now on USA, and like she's the sweetest thing ever. But like, and she throws so hard. But we played her at night.
Oh god.
At the World Series, and she throws like 70, and I was like, what is going on? And it was like her 21st birthday. It was like the perfect storm. It was at night. So like now I'm like, I'm not playing that game. I hate night games.
What is your game day routine?
My game day routine, I always have to get coffee, always. And then normally it's just like, now I will like try to like meditate almost, just relax before the game. Cause I'm like a very anxious person already before games. Like, and so I think I just have to like try to relax, and then I do my makeup and I do my hair and just go. Like,
ready to go?
Field.
Go to the field. Yeah, we're there like so early, like 4 hours early.
Yeah.
So it sucks. Yeah. So we're there all day, but yeah.
Favorite date night spot?
Favorite date night spot? Oh God. I don't know. I love sushi.
Me too.
So probably something with sushi. I feel like, that would probably be my favorite.
What advice would you give to an incoming student athlete to college?
I feel like just be open. I feel like I wish I was more open and like willing to put myself out there, because I am very shy.
Yeah.
Also, don't come to college with a boyfriend.
Never.
For real.
Literally.
I tell my sister and my cousin all the time. My cousin's like a senior in college. I'm like,
Oh, shoot.
girl,
Really?
yeah, you don't need a boyfriend, and just be open and just like, these are actually the best years of your life. Like, I wish I knew that like the 5th years that were telling me like,
I know,
this is the best years of your life. Like, I wish I would have actually believed it and not been like, oh, I just want to be done. Like, I want to move on. Like, I wish I would have definitely enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. What is next for Maya Brady?
I don't even know. Like, I'm literally like living day to day, and like I feel like for me it's really gonna depend on how this year ends.
Yeah.
Because I think it's either like I'm gonna be like ready to be done, like because this has been a really long year already.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna be like, I'm not going out like that anymore. I need more. But I've definitely started to explore playing after college, which before for me was like an automatic no. But I think if I were to play, I would definitely play out of the country possibly.
That'd be cool.
I don't want to work. I don't want to work. I'm like, I did an internship this summer, and like it was a 9 to 5, and I was like,
it's crazy.
this is insane.
Yeah.
This is how you're living? This is crazy.
Yeah.
But it's like the like anxiety of like having to make money to live. I'm like, oh God, this is too much.
Like starting to plan out all the financials and I
can't. I can't. That's why I'm like, maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe I just need to keep playing.
Yeah.
Play for as long as possible.
Maya, thank you so much for coming on her Playbook. We like so beyond appreciate it and have had like the best time, especially catching up with you and hearing everything about you has been amazing. Follow all of our social media platforms at Her Playbook Pod, and then also follow Maya on her final chase of the championship at Maya Brady _.
Thank you. Bye, guys.